This week in World of Tanks, Wargaming has a trade-in system where you can exchange vehicles you don't care for tanks you might. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the exchange system, what I think is good, what I think is bad, and if there's any vehicles notable that you can get out of this. So let's take a look at what you can trade in. There's quite a few vehicles, as we can see. The Gonzalo is worth the most, and I'm going to be honest, the Gonzalo is pretty mediocre. It's definitely nothing spectacular. It basically takes the Caliban and puts a less exciting gun on it. It was a really disappointing tank for me to mess around with. So because of that, I'm really glad it's worth 12,000, especially because it was just sold in crates. The Luva is also very expensive, 11,200 gold. The T-44-100. Alpine Tiger is understandable as it is a bond tank. Do not trade in your IS-3A, especially because you're only getting half the value. That is not worth it even slightly. Skoda T-56, keep. Any of the vehicles that are obviously super strong, you want to keep in your garage, like the Vipera, like the BZ-176. If you trade this in, you're simply a fool. But let's say you have a vehicle like the IS-5 or the FCM 50-ton, which is a pretty mediocre tank. Well, you're going to get 5,300 gold for trading it in. And then you get to pick from a whole list of new vehicles. And we can take a look at the list here and see what we have. We're going to look at Tier 8, and then we can take a look at the lower tier. Saluva, not worth it. Do not get the Alpine Tiger. The IS-6 is not worth it. AMX M4 is pretty mediocre. Same for the 168, but the 7032 is an absolutely amazing vehicle, and this is by far, in my opinion, the best tank on the list. The 7032 is kind of overpowered in its capabilities, and you can shave off about half the gold, only having to spend 5,000 to get the tank. The 7032 is crazy good, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. But let's see what else you can get your hands on. Honestly, the Bisante is a very fun vehicle as well. I don't think it's as good as the 703, but it is still a very, very solid tank. Same for the T77, very fun vehicle. Not a lot of people love it, but I really like the playstyle of a super quick dumping autoloader. The rest of the vehicles, pretty mediocre. Skoda T27 is alright. That's a fun vehicle. The rest of the list here, Chrysler K is okay, but I can't say there's anything spectacular about it. Yeah, the rest of the list is alright. ELC Even 90, if you don't have, is a great tank to get your hands on, especially because it's super cheap. It's one of the highest win rate vehicles in Tier 8 right now, and if you want to learn how to get started with light tanks, it's a fantastic vehicle to get. The rest of the list, I can't really say there's anything too spectacular. Let's take a look at the Tier 7s you can get. No. Yeah, the whole list of Tier 7s is absolutely L. Do not get any of the Tier 7s. And the Tier 6s, well, honestly, none of them are really spectacular. I think the only tier that you should be looking at is Tier 8. And as I said, the most notable tanks are the 7032, the Bisante, honestly, maybe the Astron Rex if you like types of auto-loading vehicles, and the T77. I can't really say there's anything too spectacular, though. I mean, the VK75 is alright, but it's definitely nothing amazing. But if you have a vehicle like the FCM, or something you don't care about, like the WZ-111, the Alpine Tiger, you wasted bonds on it, and you're like, man, I really don't care about this tank. Personally, I would recommend, if you don't have it, to get the 703 version 2, which is what we're going to focus on in today's video. So here we are with a fully equipped 703 version 2, and I'm going to showcase just what it can do. Now, the 703 features a double-shot gun. It's weird, though, because it's an auto-reloader, essentially, that can fire both shells at the same time, which is kind of insane. It does have a lot of downsides. Accuracy-wise, it's frickin' horrific. 0.38 dispersion, 3 seconds of aiming time, all bad. When it comes to mobility, it's also not that fast, only goes 38 with a pretty mediocre power to weight. But armor-wise, it's very strong. Its upper plate is nearly impervious for the majority of Tier 7s and 6s. Even the lower plate's quite strong on the vehicle. I didn't even know this tank had a legendary camo. To be honest, it's kind of funky. Looks like it went through the battlefields of yeah, I'm not going to say that, but it looks like it went through the battlefields. And it is a cool style, but definitely a funky one at that. So hopefully we get a decent matchup here, and I'm going to be able to showcase the capabilities of the 703. Looks like we are loading into a game as our timer has stopped, and yeah, there you go. A Tier 8 and 7 game should be fine to get the job done. Okay, so what do we have up against us? We got a Kilana. We're going to have to be careful about that. It's one of the most dangerous tank destroyers in Tier 8. It's got one of the highest win rates right now. That thing is busted. They got a BZ as well. Bro. They got a cringe lineup. Alright, well, it shouldn't be too much of a big deal. We are just going to make our way to the hull down position and see what we can do. It's very late. It is currently 2:30 in the morning, so if I slur my words or miss a shot here or there, you know why. Oh, I forgot to put field modifications on this tank. I mean, it's not the biggest deal ever, but it's a little disappointing I forgot to do that. Oh well. Our tank's going to be a little bit less accurate and feature a little bit worse HP. But it shouldn't be the biggest problem ever, because field mods on tier 8 are obviously not nearly as important as they are for a tier 10 tank. So you can see mobility-wise, yeah, the tank's pretty mid. To be fair, though, it is quite a heavy vehicle, and it's got a lot of armor, so at least it's understandable that it doesn't have the most mobility. We are going to cross here, and we're going to start off by... Well, actually, if nobody's spotted crossing, we're going to move up, and let's see, we are detected. Oh, there you go, we got a T-29. And unfortunately, the shell goes just a little bit too high. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, there's the artillery shooting at us. We love artillery. Oh, there's another artillery shooting at us. But hey, that's not going to stop us from getting out the shell. All right, well, not bad. That's 405 damage. I have a feeling we're going to be pegged by artillery the entire game. But you can already see how the auto-reloading mechanic of the vehicle works. It's very basic, very simple. You literally just reload as a single shot, but with 2 shells. So we're just going to back up here, and I'm not going to poke until we get both shots. Now that we have both shells, I'm hoping that the T-32, there you go, we get a nice shell out. Now you'll notice what's rather funny is that when you shoot in this tank, the gun barrel changes position, and because of that, you have to actually reposition your tank, which I always find really, really cool. We're actually going to salvo a shot here. Oh, we only hit 1. I knew that Lorraine was going to poke. We predicted it, but unfortunately, we only got 1 of the shells. So you can see if you hold the fire button, you can shoot 2 shells at once, which is obviously very, very dangerous and can allow you to get out some nasty, nasty damage. Even with the .38 dispersion, it's not that big of a deal, as we can see, as long as you know how to take advantage of the enemies. So there you go. Another nice shell into the T-832. We lock him in place, and we're up to 1,500 damage, which is pretty good stuff. Alright, we're going to have a shell in just a couple seconds here, and we poke once again. I have a feeling the enemy team, and yes they are going to be playing very aggressive over here. We have the Lorraine, and I'm just going to shoot the Lorraine, honestly. I think that's the best play to do. While I am going to lose a bit of DPM for dumping the shell, I still think it is much more beneficial to do that. So let's see, we got the IS-32. There you go, nice 330 damaging shell into him. Problem is right now I don't have too much support, but the enemy team's getting bled out, which is obviously pretty good. We're going to reload in just a moment here. Not able to get that shell out, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. IS-32 and the BZ are on our side. I'm really hoping that one of them makes a misplay. Oh, we got the T-29 in front, and there you go. Both low-rolled, but we still did 728 HP off of that T-29, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. The damage output of this vehicle is quite insane, and you can see why. I mean, when you're able to get these shells working, the 703 is really just almost unstoppable. We're already over 3,000 damage, which is pretty dang good. And now we're going to head wide over here, and oh boy. Well, we got hit. Tried to get a shell into the enemy CS. Unfortunately, did not obviously end up working. The enemy SU gets hit by... Artillery is really the cringiest thing in the entirety of World of Tanks. Like, there's nothing that I hate more than artillery. I seriously, it just takes away all the fun in this game for me sometimes. The only health I've lost this game is because of artillery. And it's not like we're using an OP hull-down spot. We're literally just driving our tank and getting shot. Like, cringe. Well, we get a nice clearing shell into the enemy T-29. Now we're going to move up a bit. Let's see if the CS tries to poke. There you go. Nice 360 damage shell on him. Okay, we're up to 3,400. I am a little worried about the BZ. Obviously, that is a big threat. So let's see if we can reload. And really, armor not pierced. That sucks. I'm going to try and cross, maybe. Yeah, I kind of have to, don't I? Well, this is not great. I'm going to see if I can clear the BZ while I'm over here. I don't think the BZ is going to be able to easily cut through me. And I think we should ideally be able to get rid of his tank here. So let's see if we can do that. Let's just angle out the hull. There you go. And the artillery actually manages to finish him off with me. Pretty good stuff. Okay, well, we got the judo off to the side. We got a nice 390 damaging shell into his vehicular. And now we're just going to back up. Not really sure why this judo is focusing me so bad, but not that big of a deal for me. We're going to load in a nice shell, clearing his vehicle. We're now up to 4,500 damage. And we've obviously done quite a bit. All right, well, let's make our way over here. We still have 3 more APCR shells left. And aiming. Oh, that's unfortunate. Unfortunately, looks like our teammate dies because of that. To be fair, I don't think we would have killed him either way. But it's still a little sad to see a teammate die. Alright, well, the artillery, of course, taking some of our damage. Not that big of a deal, but still a little annoying. Let's just make our way over here. And bonk. There you go. 169 into his tank. Okay. Well, there's only artillery really left on the enemy team at this point. Yeah, this is a pretty easy game. 4,700 damage. And I think it's a great showcase of the 7032's capabilities. I mean, this is easily one of the best tier 8s in the game. With the DPM not being the most, but the fact that you have 2 barrels, you can just so easily get out damage. Now, I was tempted to make my way over towards the enemy artillery, but at the same time, I really don't see any world where I'm going to be able to effectively get shells into those already. I'm just not fast enough, so instead, I'm going to head over towards our base cap. I think that T-71 is going to try, maybe step towards the base. I don't really know, but I think that's ideally the only world where I'm going to get some damage out is going for this player over here. So we'll see if this T-71 is in the corner or not. But I'm kind of hoping he is, and maybe tries to step into the base or something like that. Let us find out. And there you go. My prediction was indeed correct. And whoa, what an insane shot. We hit him full speed on the move. That is quite a juicer. Let's aim it again here and fire. Ah, shell went a little low. To be fair, I aimed that kind of poor. But I still cannot believe we hit that T-71 with that first shell there. All right, well, let's pretend like we're going this way over here. And then we're just going to go wide. And we'll see what the T-71 does. He's probably waiting for me to roll around one of these corners. So let's see. Where are you, buddy boy? Is he over here? That's the question I have. I'm going to go wide. That way we ideally don't get proxy spotted by him. Then we can roll around the corner like so. And he's gone. Well, oh well. I guess he predicted that we were rolling around wide. It's not that big of a deal, though. The AAT-60 clears him. And that's a win. I think this was a great example of the 7032, though. It's a fantastic tank. We did 5,200 damage. We didn't assist much, but we didn't really need to. We did our job, we helped out our team, and this is why the tank is so darn good. I think this is equally as good as the Skoda T56. The gun is insane on it, and that wasn't even an ace. That's the craziest part. We got a first class, almost 1,600 XP. In fact, if we had gotten the kill on that T71, I guarantee it would have been an ace. But either way, the 703 version 2 is a fantastic vehicle. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But that's my opinion on the trade-in. Hopefully enjoy the video. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.